ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our singing star, Miss Kitty Reed.
Hello world, this is Miss Kitty Reed, and today on Amish Book Club we will be discussing A Merry Heart by Wanda Brunstetter. It was published in 2007 and is the first book in the Brides of Lancaster County series. My assistant today is Joss, the American Girl of the Year for 2020. Miriam Stoltzfus has been called the old maid school teacher with a heart of stone. The 26-year-old is close to romance and distressed men after the boy she dated since her school years married another girl a few years ago. Unbeknownst to her, Amos Hilty has loved her for years. He eventually married another woman who died in a tragic buggy accident, leaving him the single father of 6-year-old Mary Ellen. Miriam's parents have been trying to foster a relationship between her and Amos, but Miriam is completely resistant to the idea. Miriam can be rude to Amos, which hurts him as well as Mary Ellen, who is very fond of her teacher. Miriam assumes Amos just wants her as a wife so he can have someone to take care of Mary Ellen and do the housework, not because he loves her. Miriam runs into Nick McCormick, a local journalist, who proves to be more charming than she would like, though he is an atheist. On another day, Nick happens upon Miriam drying her hair and sparks fly. To complicate matters, Amos asks Miriam if he can court her, and she says he is only looking for a mother for his child. Miriam does have a fondness for Mary Ellen, especially because she is being bullied at school due to not having a mother. Miriam's father dies of a sudden heart attack. Nick happens to be at the hospital and comforts her, taking her out to a cafe. At the funeral, Amos attempts to console Miriam, but she refuses to let him. Then disaster strikes again. Miriam is going to leave the school and was preparing to take her niece Rebecca home with her. Miriam lets her go outside to wait, and a tree limb falls on her. She is left paralyzed. Amos sees the scene and goes to call for an ambulance. These incidents leave Miriam even more bitter than before, and she ends up closing herself off to God. Nick tries to get closer to Miriam, even though he publishes a picture of Rebecca in the newspaper after she told him not to. When Rebecca comes home from the hospital, her family needs extra help, so Miriam's mother moves in with them. Miriam then learns that her brother will be getting married and his wife will move in with them. She is determined that she will move out before she will intrude upon her brother's life by living with the newlyweds. Both Amos and Nick propose to her, but she declines. When Mary Ellen is bullied in school for not having a mother to care for her, Miriam decides she will marry Amos. She does not love him, but loves Mary Ellen and wants her to have a mother in her life. Miriam tells Amos she will accept his proposal, but does not want any physical contact at all, even holding hands, and may never. Amos accepts, but says she must keep her bitterness in check and raise Mary Ellen to be a faithful Christian. Although warned not to go through the wedding by a friend, Miriam and Amos are married. Both realize they have made a huge mistake. Amos and Miriam are awkward around each other and confused at how to proceed. Miriam's family thinks her discontent is due to the fact that she is not yet pregnant. Though Miriam vows she will never have a child, she starts to love Mary Ellen as a daughter. But when Amos reads a passage from the Bible about children during family Bible study, she realizes she does want a baby. When Amos gets cut, Miriam cares for him, touching him for the first time. On the way to pick Mary Ellen up from school, Miriam's buggy slides on the ice and she is trapped. Amos finds her and, fearing the worst, tells her he loves her. In the hospital, Miriam realizes she loves her new family. Amos tells Miriam he has loved her since childhood. Miriam has reconnected with God and is now ready to change her life and marriage. Miriam, Amos, and Mary Ellen become a true happy family, and Miriam tells her mother she is pregnant. The end. This book had some engaging characters, but overall the book was strange. There were so many repetitive disasters that served no purpose. Miriam's father dying and Rebecca becoming paralyzed served no purpose to the plot. And by the time Miriam was in an accident as well, I was rolling my eyes. More importantly, the characters act contrary to what one would come to expect. The biggest issue is that Miriam, who was constantly described as having a heart of stone, suddenly agreed to marry Amos. Miriam was outright rude to Amos and openly hostile to men and marriage. She harbored a grudge against her former boyfriend that made her bitter. But she is upset Mary Ellen is bullied, so she marries Amos. I had to pause, mouth agape, when that happened. And we're also supposed to believe that Amos has kept a childhood crush alive for decades, even through his first marriage, and will marry Miriam even when she says he cannot touch her at all. And after Miriam and Amos made the biggest mistake of their lives by getting married, it's all okay because Miriam has a come to Jesus moment and they love each other and have a baby. It is so unrealistic. The final chapters of this book played out just like a bad Christian movie. Preachy, forced, and poorly executed. I give this book a 3 out of 7. The book was readable despite the problems. You want to know what happens to the characters even if it keeps getting worse. Our next book will be Ellie by Mary Christner Borntrager. Please check with your local library to see if they have it on the shelves. If not, I am sure they would be happy to get it for you through interlibrary loan. Joss would like to remind all of you out there on the information superhighway to share your opinions in the comments and look at the video description for important links. This has been Amish Book Club with Miss Kitty Reed. This is Miss Kitty Reed and Joss signing off. See you later on Amish Book Club.
Living in the rhythm that I'm speaking of. You'll be happy in your work if you're in love.